Exports, and welcome to week 2 of my razor sharp picks. Now, I know what you all are thinking, and to be honest, I'm thinking the same thing. What happened to those razor sharp picks over the offseason? Not so sharp after week 1. Might have to get some sharpening tools out and sharpen those knives a little bit for week 2. Only 7-9 in week 1. Not what we want to do. With 7-9 both straight up and 7-9 against the spread. Definitely want to do better. But when you look at the standings in our ESPN Pick'em League, the top guys only had 10. The top teams, the top picks, only had 10 right. So we're only 3 away from the leaders. Everyone seems to have a bad week. But my expectation for myself is to have double-digit wins every single week of the NFL football season. That includes week 1. Obviously, that's out the window. We can't do anything about that. All we can do is move on. Again, guys, thank you for joining me on this edition of Hashtag Sports. My name is Joe. If you're new, hit that like, subscribe, comment if you want to comment. Let me know who you think is going to win these matchups week 2. And it starts Thursday night. Tomorrow night, for those of you watching this on Wednesday, I think this is going to be a great matchup. This is probably one of the matchups I'm looking the most forward to out of week 2, except for, of course, Monday night when our Bills go up against the Tennessee Titans. But this is 2 of the best in the AFC West, if not the 2 best teams in the AFC West after what we saw in week 1. The Kansas City Chiefs at home, 4.5-point favorites against the LA Chargers. Both teams coming off wins in week 1. The Chiefs pretty much handling the Arizona Cardinals the best way they could. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, 5 touchdowns. He did his thing, as he always does. They still want to prove that they're the best team in the AFC West. Listen, we've seen all the additions from the Chargers, from the Raiders, from the Broncos. We saw that Hill left the Chiefs. They heard all offseason long how this isn't going to be the same Chiefs team. They said, not so fast. We still have one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the NFL today. You look at the LA Chargers coming off that win against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, AFC West foes, so they're 1-0 in the division already. What do they have going into Thursday night? Listen, a lot of times you know that Vegas likes to give 3 points to the home team, right? Like that's the standard. You give 3 points to the home team. I like to give a few more points when it comes to Thursday night games, especially when you move on later in the season, right? Week 2 might not matter too much. Everyone's still pretty fresh after getting that first game under their legs. But as you move on in the season, those Thursday night games become tougher and tougher. Whether you get a trap game the Sunday before or you just have a hard time getting used to whatever it is, the travel schedule, the workout schedule, the differences between your normal week and a week where you play on Thursday night football. Now, unfortunately for the Bills, we have 3 Thursday night games this season. 1 we just played. Luckily, that was the first week of the season, so it didn't really mess up our workout routine too much. But then you play that Thanksgiving game against the Lions, and later on in the season, we have a Thursday night game against the Patriots. But we're talking about week 2. We're talking about this Thursday night game. Give me the Chiefs to win this game. However, give me the Chargers to keep this one close. I don't think the Chiefs can think about running away with the division, and that's why I don't think the Chiefs can think about running away with this game. This is the type of game you want to get away with a victory. Give me the Chiefs to win this one. The Chargers keep it within 4.5 points. Moving on to the Sunday games. Okay, you got another full slate of Sunday games. You do, however, have 2 Monday night games this week, so we do look forward to that. But you have a full slate of Sunday games starting at 1 o'clock with the Carolina Panthers going up against the New York, New Jersey Giants. This is the home opener for the Giants, which we played in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Of course it is, because they are the New York Giants after all. The Giants coming off a huge win. Our friend Brian Dable with a gutsy decision to go for a 2-point conversion late in that game, instead just settling for the extra point and tying that game, potentially going into overtime. He goes for 2, puts the Giants up 21-20, which is the final score against the Tennessee Titans. The Carolina Panthers, that revenge game that everyone talked about for Baker Mayfield, well, it didn't turn out to be so much, right? You had the Cleveland Browns coming in, to Carolina, getting the victory. The Giants in this one, 2.5-point favorites. Listen, week one, we finally saw a little bit more of Saquon that we were used to his rookie year. Now, can that be something we expect the whole season long? I don't know. I'm on record as saying that I believe that this year Saquon would come back a little bit. Maybe not to his Pro Bowl form of his rookie season, but definitely see some improvement there. And we saw some of that week one, not just out of the backfield as far as running the ball, but he caught a few passes too, made some highlight plays that way as well. And I expect the same thing in this game. I expect the Giants to lean heavily on Saquon Barkley. You still can't trust Daniel Jones, right? And I think that the Giants proved that in the last game, late in the first half. Instead of trying to get some points on the board, they took the ball pretty much out of Daniel Jones's hands, and they decided to go into halftime at that time. So I think that the Giants have proved, Brian Daboll has proven that they're not sure they can trust Daniel Jones with those opportunities. But I think Saquon Barkley against a Carolina Panthers defense that really didn't impress me week one. Now, they still have some good offensive weapons. DJ Moore didn't show up in week one, but we can't overextend what that means going on through the rest of the season. Obviously, they still have Christian McCaffrey, and they do have Baker Mayfield, who can be a decent quarterback at times, just wasn't last week. You don't want to overreact about week one, but at the same time, this Giants team did look pretty impressive, beating a tough Tennessee Titans team. And again, I'm not going to overreact. I still think the Tennessee Titans are a good team. Give me the Giants to win this game in their home opener. Give me the Giants to cover that 2.5-point spread. Then you go to Pittsburgh in a game that normally is great. I don't know how great this game is going to be, but they do have two great head coaches still, right? You talk about the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick going to the Steel City, going to Pittsburgh, playing up against Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. J.J. Watt won't play in this game either, but T.J. Watt out due to that torn pec. Now, there are some speculations going around. Will he be out for the whole season, or is he going to try to rehab it? Personally, if I'm a Steelers fan, I want him to be out for the season, get that surgery now. Last thing you want is for him to come back and have issues still with it and fight through it for the rest of the season and then have surgery in the offseason, which then means he misses part of the 2023 season. If I was a fan of the Steelers, I say get the surgery now, take care of business, and then be back fully healthy in 2023. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. In the meantime, we still have a game to talk about. The Steelers, again, 1.5-point favorites after that. 1.5-point underdogs, I should say, after that big win against Cincinnati in overtime. The Patriots, their offense just didn't show up against the Dolphins, but that's not unusual for the New England Patriots, no matter who their quarterback is, right? So you look at the Patriots. Can this offense do something? Can Mac Jones do a little something magical for the New England Patriots? There are 1.5-point favorites here. I'm not sure why. I think that Vegas might be overblowing the T.J. Watt injury. Listen, it's a huge injury for sure. But at the same time, I still think this Steelers defense is going to be a really good defense, even without T.J. Watt. It's that offense that you have to be concerned about, right? You're not sure what you're going to get out of that offense. Didn't do too much against Cincinnati. A lot of turnovers caused in that game against Cincinnati that gave them the victory. One thing Bill Belichick is going to make sure Mac Jones doesn't do, turn the ball over. Remember that game last year against the Bills in those winning conditions? They threw the ball, 3 times total? Mac Jones will not get a chance to turn the ball over too much in this game. Give me the Patriots to win. Give me the Patriots to cover that 1.5-point spread. Vegas smells something, and when Vegas smells something, I try to make sure that I don't get caught on the wrong end of it. So give me the Patriots to win this game. Give me the Patriots to cover that 1.5-point spread. Then moving on to Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going against the New Orleans Saints. The Saints squeaking out a victory against the Atlanta Falcons when they were losing pretty much the whole game. Tampa Bay completely controlling the game Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys. However, what many people are not talking about in that game, they had a hard time getting touchdowns, right? They got field goals, and Dallas couldn't match them for a score to save their life. Unfortunately for the Cowboys, Dak went out as well. But at the same time, the Buccaneers had a hard time getting that ball into the end zone, okay? Especially early on. It was 4 straight field goals for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not too many people talking about that. You know, in order to win in this league consistently, you need to score touchdowns. Tom Brady knows that, but can he get the job done? Can he get that ball into Evans. We did see a nice touchdown pass to Mike Evans towards the end of the half, maybe third quarter of that game. So we know that they can get the ball in the end zone still, but can they do it consistently? The Saints, like I said, squeaked out a victory, 3-point underdogs in this one. Guys, the Saints, the Buccaneers don't like going to New Orleans. We talked a little bit earlier about how the Patriots don't like going to Miami, and there's another matchup here later that we're going to talk about one team not liking going to the other team's homeland. That's the case here for the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers don't like going to New Orleans for some reason, and for that reason alone, give me the Saints to win this game. The Buccaneers should win this game. The Buccaneers should. But we've said that before about the Buccaneers versus Saints. The Buccaneers should win this game, but they go to New Orleans. They party too hard. Who knows what the problem is? They can't get the job done. Give me the Saints to win. Give me the Saints to beat a 3-point spread. Going to Cleveland, the Browns, who, again, got that victory against the Panthers last week. 1-0, going up against the 0-1 New York, New Jersey, Jets, Jets. The Jets not really looking like they were on sync against the Baltimore Ravens. You still have Joe Flacco in this game. The Browns, 6-point favorites. And listen, I am happy that the Browns got that win against Carolina. Good job. Congratulations. Good job for Brissett and people who don't get in legal trouble, who can actually be on the field for the season opener. Good for them. They deserve it. They're not the ones who made a stupid decision to sign a quarterback that then can't play. But the Browns to be 6-point favorites in this game, I think that's just too many points, right? Like, what did the Browns do to say, hey, we deserve to be, because 6 points is a lot in the NFL, right? To be favored by in a game. What did the Browns do to say, hey, they deserve that? Now, I expect a low-scoring game in this one. So give me the Browns to win. Give me the Browns to move to 2-0, which no one would have expected. But give me the Jets to keep this game close. I think that Joe Flacco, the veteran that he isn't going to turn the ball over too much. The Browns win this one at home. But give me the Jets. Hey, and they have like the elephant midfield now instead of the helmet, so that should be fun for everybody. Give me the Browns to win the game. Give me the Jets to cover a 6-point spread. Moving on to Baltimore, who beat the Jets last week. The Baltimore Ravens at home going against the Miami Dolphins. The Ravens 3.5-point favorites. The Ravens at home in the home opener. Listen, it's always tough to play the Ravens in Baltimore. M&T Stadium normally rocking. I expect to be rocking for the home opener. A lot of high expectations for this Baltimore Ravens team, and they did nothing but give you reason to think that last week against the Jets. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to win this game. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to cover a 3.5-point spread, going 2-0 against the AFCs. But that next AFC's opponent in week 4 or 5, whenever it is, it's going to be a tough one for you. But give me the Baltimore Ravens to win this one. Give me the Baltimore Ravens to cover that 3.5-point spread. Going to Detroit, the Motor City, the Detroit Lions, 2.5-point favorites against the Commanders. Commanders coming away with a win late against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Almost gave that one away, but they get an impressive game-winning drive out of Carson Wentz. The Lions tried to make a comeback against the Philadelphia Eagles. What an offensive explosion that game was. Swift just had a great game for the Lions. Not sure if the Commanders are going to be able to stop him in this game. The Lions, like I said, 2.5-point favorites, but I think the Commanders kind of showed something in week 1, getting that come from behind victory, right? Carson Wentz being able to show that confidence he can have once again, leading a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. Again, they almost blew it, and it was the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I understand why a lot of people are skeptical of this team, and you should be. But again, I don't know what we have in the Lions. I think that a lot of people were very high on the Lions for the sole reason that they are on HBO's Hard Knocks, right? I feel like a lot of people fall in love with the Lions or fall in love with whatever team is on Hard Knocks that offseason just because you see things you normally don't get to see. So you get that sentimental look in, right? You get that look in that everyone loves to see. So people start saying, hey, look at this team. Look what they're doing. Well, the truth is 32 teams are doing that. You're just seeing one team do that on an HBO special. But I don't think a single team who has been featured on Hard Knocks has actually made the playoffs the next season. So for those reasons, Carson Wentz being back, looking a little more confident, looking a little bit more like he was a few years ago in Philadelphia. Give me the Commanders to actually win this game. Give me the Commanders to beat a 2.5-point spread. So I talked I talked a little bit earlier about teams not liking to go to another team's home, right? They don't like going to a certain place. Don't know what it is about that place. It's been a while since they've won there, and they just have that monkey on their back. Well, when the Indianapolis Colts go to Jacksonville, they lose. They lose. And that's been a true statement since 2014. We're talking Andrew Luck. We're talking Phillip Rivers. We're talking, it doesn't matter who we're talking about. Carson Wentz. Doesn't matter. They go to Jacksonville, they lose. You live, you pay taxes. Like, they just go hand in hand. And listen, sooner or later, that streak has to come to an end, right? But I'm not sure if it comes to an end against this Jacksonville team. You look at this Jacksonville team coming off of, week 17, complete obliteration of this Colts team last year to get the Colts out of the playoffs. This Jacksonville Jaguars team isn't happy with how they lost the Commanders last week. Giving the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, this young team, to find something here, right? Find something at home in Jacksonville, a place where the Colts don't like to play. The Jacksonville Jaguars don't only cover a – no, let me start over again. Let me start over again. You know what? Yeah, no, the streak does have to come to an end. The Indianapolis Colts are going to win this game, okay? The Colts coming off a loss, the AFC South obviously up for grabs. Not a single team getting a win. The Colts actually had a tie last week, but felt like a loss, right? And so the Colts win, but the Jaguars keep it close. Right? The Jaguars keep it close. The Jaguars cover a 4-point spread. The Colts do something in Jacksonville they haven't done since 2014, and they win. Give me the Colts to win the game. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars to cover a 4-point spread. Moving on to the 4 o'clock games, and we have 5 4 p.m. start time games in the NFL, or 4:25, whichever you want to go with. The Falcons at Rams lead things off, and out of these 5 4 o'clock games, we have 3 with double-digit spreads. And if you've watched my show in the past, you know how I feel about double-digit spreads. Don't like them. Don't like them at all. Why would the NFL do this to me? They're playing games with my head, man, and I don't like it, especially week 2. It's only week 2. No team deserves that disrespect, except for maybe the Falcons. The Falcons are going to LA, playing against the Rams. The Rams having a little extra time to prepare, right? A little extra time to prepare, a little extra time to think about how they're going to get revenge for what happened to them on Thursday night against our Buffalo Bills, the season opener. Listen, the Rams just got their butts handed to them a little bit more than a week ago. When this game starts, it'll be more than a week ago. Now they're going to do some butt whooping of their own. Give me the Rams to win this game. Give me the Rams to cover a 10-point spread. Listen, I know the Falcons played close to the Saints. It was cool. It was nice. And they had the lead. And I thought they were going to win. But they didn't. They didn't. This Rams team, you want to talk about overreactions after week 1. People talking about how this Rams team's no good, how their time is done. Yada. Ramsey had a terrible game. Yada. Well, they're going to come back with vengeance in this one. And they're going to put up some points, put up some numbers against a team that I think the Falcons could actually be one of the teams that fight for that number 1 overall pick going in next season, to be honest with you. But we'll see how it turns out. But in this game, give me the Rams to win it and give me the Rams to cover that 10.5-point spread. Then you go to the San Francisco 49ers. And here's where it starts to bug me, right? The San Francisco 49ers, 10-point favorites against the Seattle Seahawks. I'm sorry. Didn't the Seattle Seahawks just beat Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football? And again, don't overreact. I get it. But then the 49ers just lose to Chicago in some terrible weather. Again, don't overreact. I get it. But 10 points? 10 points against a division rival who has always played you tough? I just don't like that number. Now, the Niners are going to win, right? I think the Niners have enough. I think Trey Lance is a work in progress, but I think he learned some things last Sunday. I think that Shanahan is going to help him improve. Shanahan's done nothing but prove that he is a good head coach. So I think Shanahan is going to help this team improve. I think the 49ers defense is still a very dominant unit, and I think they prove that against the Seattle Seahawks. Give me the 49ers to confuse Geno Smith, cause some turnovers, and beat the Seattle Seahawks. But the Seahawks are going to keep within 10 points, right? That's what I'm going with. Give me the 49ers to win this game. Give me the Seahawks to cover that 10-point spread. Going to Denver, where we just talked about those Broncos losing on Monday night to the Seattle Seahawks, going up against the Houston Texans. The Texans, man, how did they pull off that tie against the Colts? I just don't know. But listen, it wasn't a loss. It wasn't a loss. So it takes them until week 2 to get their first loss of the season. Now, you can easily argue with me that if the 49ers didn't prove anything to be 10-point favorites at home, then neither did the Broncos. And I'd agree with you. But they're not going up against the Seattle Seahawks defense. They're going up against the Houston Texans. You want to talk about teams who are fighting for that number 1 overall draft pick? And that time I heard him when it comes to that come May or whatever that is. The Texans are fighting for that number 1 overall draft pick next season. The Texans just are not a good team. And if you pick the Texans every single week from here on out in your survivor pools, I wouldn't argue with it, even a little bit. But we saw what happened last week. If you picked them against them last week, I'm sorry, you're already eliminated. But give me the Broncos to win this game. Give me the Broncos to cover a double-digit spread. This isn't a divisional game. It's in Denver, Mile High. We know how tough it is to play at Mile High for other teams. Houston, they're not up that high. They need to be able to breathe, relax. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be able to do that. Broncos win this game. Broncos cover that 10-point spread. Then you go to Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Raiders at home going against the Arizona Cardinals. 6-point favorites. Listen, the Cardinals are going to be happy. They're going to find out that the Raiders are not the Kansas City Chiefs. This Arizona Cardinals team is actually pretty decent. Now, we do know the wide receivers aren't what they're going to be, in a few weeks, when Hopkins comes back. D-Hop suspended the first 7-8 weeks of the season. I forget what that is. But when he comes back, obviously the Cardinals are going to be a lot more formidable. But right now, they're just lacking the horses, right? Can Kyler Murray get something done? That's the question. That's what everyone wants to know. And I think in this game, maybe he does. Maybe they find a way to beat this Raiders team, but maybe they don't. Because you look at the NFC West, and the only team that got a win last week was the Seattle Seahawks. So maybe the NFC West is becoming a little overrated. I don't know. Maybe they are. That's just me spitballing here. So the Raiders, we know what the AFC West can provide you, right? Even though the Raiders lost last week, they played the Chargers really tough to the end there on the road. I like the Raiders to win this game. Okay, the AFC West, I think, is the best division in football right now. And I think we're going to find that out both Thursday night when the Chiefs play the Chargers, and we're going to find that out later on this weekend. Give me the Raiders to win this game, but give me the Cardinals to keep this one close. I said it last week, didn't work out so much. But give me the Cardinals to keep this one close. They could pull off the win here, right? Maybe we're all a little too high on the Las Vegas Raiders. I like the Raiders. I like the Cardinals to cover the spread. Then the last 4 o'clock game we have for you is the Cincinnati Bengals, the 0-1 defending AFC champions, Cincinnati Bengals, going against the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys without Dak Prescott, broken finger in his throwing hand. He will be out for several weeks. So we're not even sure who that quarterback is going to be for the Dallas Cowboys. We don't even know who that's going to be at this moment. Now, it could be that backup came in last week. Didn't do too bad, but he didn't do too bad against a team that was pretty much playing a vanilla defense at that point, right? Late in the fourth quarter, the Buccaneers had a pretty good lead against the Cowboys. They could take it easy for a little bit, right? And give some open looks in the middle of the field. And Cowboys backup, whose name I can't remember at this moment, didn't do too bad firing those weapons, but he didn't get any points on the board either. I like the Bengals to win this game, but this is in Dallas. This is Dallas home opener. Unlike the Houston Texans going to Denver, this one in Dallas, this Dallas defense is still really good, and that's one of the reasons why Tampa struggled getting it in the end zone last week. I think that the defense takes it personally that people are just throwing this team on the bus and saying that their season's over without Dak Prescott. It's going to be tough. But I think at least in this game here, they show a little something, right? They show a little grit, and they show that this defense can lead the Cowboys team in the future. Now, they don't have enough offensive power to get the job done overall, but I think the Cowboys defense keeps this game close. Give the Bengals to win this game, but give me the Dallas Cowboys to cover the spread. To be honest, if the Cowboys won this one, I wouldn't be that surprised. I just wouldn't be that surprised. We saw 5 turnovers by Joe Burrow last week. If he does that again, I have a hard time seeing them winning many games at all. But give me the Bengals to win this one, being Cowboys to cover that 8-point spread. They move on to Sunday night football. Listen, what's a football season without these two teams playing in primetime? No matter how good or bad they are, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like the Eagles and the Giants. They have to play in primetime at some point. Doesn't matter what their records are. They have to play in primetime. Same thing can be said about these two teams. The Bears, the Chicago Bears, go on the road to Lambeau Field. Lambeau Field to play the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, a bunch of wide receivers who like to drop wide open passes. Should be a good one, right? Should be a good one to watch if you like watching what I think is going to be some pretty ugly football. I just think that these two teams aren't that great. Neither one of them impressed me week 1, that's for sure. Now, the Bears pulled off a win in very sloppy conditions in Soldier Field. Good for them. I'm glad. Good for Justin Fields. Maybe that's a little bit of a confidence boost, right? Good for them. I'm happy for them. I really am. But they're not going to go into Green Bay and beat Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, are they? Are they? No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter. You can put me out there. You can put Tom Grassi out there, and shout out, by the way. And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. We'll find ways to beat the Chicago Bears. Aaron Rodgers will find a way to beat the Bears in Lambeau Field. That's just the way it's going to happen. And 9.5 points, I don't know why they're favored by 9.5. I think that's ridiculous. I would have it at like 5.5. But again, maybe Vegas is smelling something. Maybe I won't be able to avoid this one. I have the Packers winning this game. But giving the Chicago Bears to cover a 9.5 point spread, that to me is just a very high point spread for any divisional matchup. Going on to Monday Night Football. We have 2 Monday Night Football games, which really annoys me because the ratings for the Bills game will be down due to the 2 Monday Night Football games, and then the NFL will use that as a reason to not have any primetime games in Buffalo. That's just my personal opinion. That's my fix on the whole league. They don't want to have primetime games in Buffalo. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter. As long as we get those W's, I don't care. I don't care. Go Eagles. Go Vikings. I don't care. The Bills play the Titans. I think the Bills and Titans is the first Monday night game. I think it starts at 7:30. The other game starts at 8:30. I'm not sure how that works. And remember to join me right here on #Sports. I give you a live play and reaction to every single snap during that game between the Tennessee Titans and the Buffalo Bills. The Bills, 10-point favorite. Again, I don't know what it is about these double-digit spreads after week 1. Again, this may be an overreaction, right? A week 1 overreaction. The Titans losing to the Giants in Tennessee, now going to Buffalo, a team that has extra rest because they played last Thursday, extra time to prepare for their opponent. Maybe that's why Vegas gives them that 10-point spread. However, the Tennessee Titans, listen, they lost 21-20, okay? 41 points total in that game. They know how to keep games close. That guy, King Henry, yeah, he's going to run the ball. He's going to get the ball. And guess what? He's going to get the ball. He's not going to be happy because he did not have a good week 1 performance. Now, is that the sign of him beginning to do that running back slump? I'm not ready to say that yet. So if you guys are, you go ahead. But I remember how badly Tennessee beat us last year. Was it last year? With Derrick Henry, right? Derrick Henry had, 2 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns? I don't know. He's still scoring. I have no idea. But what I know is they beat us pretty bad. Pretty bad. So I think the Buffalo Bills come into this game remembering that. And I think the Buffalo Bills come into this game in their home opener, ready to prove something. Home opener Monday night in Buffalo. Bills Mafia. Are you kidding me? They can't go out of this game with a loss? Not a chance. Not a chance. I would bet more money on the Bills beating the Titans at home than the Bears losing to the Packers. Okay? This is just going to happen. The Bills are going to go to 2-0. The Bills at home are going to beat the Tennessee Titans. But by 10 points? That's a lot. That's a lot. Give me the Bills to win this game. Give me the Tennessee Titans to cover that 10-point spread. Then the last game of the week, it's going to be a good one. And if it wasn't on at the same time as the Bills-Titans game it was on, I would definitely watch it. The Minnesota Vikings going to Philadelphia, play the Philadelphia Eagles. A repeat of the NFC Championship game from a few years back when the Eagles beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. The Vikings have different weapons, right? You have Justin Jefferson now, who was a stud last week. I expect him to be a stud all season long. Still have Adam Thielen there. You still have Cooks there, who hopefully stays healthy. Philadelphia Eagles. Let's not get it wrong. That offense looked impressive against the Detroit Lions, right? That offense looked impressive. We're not gonna lie about that. It took them a little bit to get going. I think they had 3 and out on their first drive. But Jalen Hurts, Brown obviously had 10 receptions in that game. He's looking impressive. I mean, these two offenses look really good. This is going to be a fun matchup. If you're a fan of the NFL, if you're a fan of offensive football, definitely want to watch this one. And again, you can watch this game and tune in to Hashtag Sports and listen to what's going on in the Bills-Vikings game by listening to me. And that way you keep me up to date on what's going on in the Vikings-Eagles game. The Eagles at home, their home opener. I know that crowd is going to be nuts, just like in Buffalo. But the Vikings, man, I just really like the Vikings this year. I think the Vikings win the AFC North. I think they've proven they can beat the best team in the AFC North last week, beating the Green Bay Packers. And maybe they get a little bit of a hangover. I'm not sure. And if they don't have a hangover, the Eagles can give them some more alcohol. I'm sure they know where to find it. But give me the Vikings to win this game. Give me the Vikings to cover a 2.5-point spread. Give me the Vikings to beat a 2.5-point spread. Again, I think there's something special about this Vikings team. New head coach, former offensive coordinator, right? More of an offensive coach for Kirk Cousins. We saw that offense kind of explode a little bit last week against the Green Bay Packers. Again, Jefferson had a huge game. I think he had double-digit receptions as well as Brown. So should be a fun matchup between two really good quarterbacks, or at least one really good quarterback and one quarterback trying to be good. And for all you who say Kirk Cousins isn't really good, just look at his stats. The stats don't lie, okay? But give me the Vikings to win this game. Give me the Vikings to beat a 2.5-point spread. So those are my picks. If you look at my picks straight up, I got the Chiefs, Giants, Patriots, Saints, Browns, Ravens, Commanders, Colts, Rams, 49ers, Broncos, Raiders, Bengals, Packers, Bills, Vikings against the spread. Chargers, Giants, Patriots, Saints, Jets, Ravens, Commanders, Jaguars, Rams, Seahawks, Broncos, Cardinals, Cowboys, Bears, Titans, Vikings. I can't even read my own handwriting, guys. It's Tuesday night. It's late. Actually, it's now Wednesday morning. But want to get this out there for you guys. Let me know your picks in the comment section. Don't forget to go to ESPN.com and sign up for the Hashtag Sports Pick'em League. If you haven't already, listen, you're only 1 week behind. You definitely have time to catch up. At the same time, if you already have signed up, don't forget to fill out your winners and losers for week 2. Looking to do better than we did in week 1. We'll see what happens. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.